You just have to look where the money is. So if you actually look at the analyst reports that are propping up these stocks, they're assuming an increase in obesity. So you talk about all the, like the Novo Nordisk's largest company in Europe, they literally, where the money hits the road, where people are investing millions of dollars, they're assuming increased rates of obesity over the next 10 years in America. I was talking to a doctor at Harvard. They're underwriting a loan for a new obesity center where they can treat an issue Ozempic. Those loans have projections for growth of obesity. They're not projecting that increased Ozempic is going to decrease obesity.
This is an important interview for you to watch, and I've linked to the full interview in the description below. In this video, I'm going to go through the highlights with you, and I'm going to comment and show some backup information about some of the things that are discussed that I think are really important points that everyone needs to focus on. And so far, we know that Ozempic is making billions of dollars and is forecast to make squillions more, because even though the uptake in use of Ozempic is getting higher and higher and higher and higher, the obesity epidemic is forecast to just increase. Ozempic won't be fixing any obesity crisis. Shocking. Let's watch.
Diabetes, which again is cellular dysfunction, is cellular disruption, totally caused by environmental factors and what we're eating. That's close to becoming upwards of 50% of kids. It's 33% and growing radically. Teens, 25% have fatty liver disease, which is something you only used to see in elderly alcoholics. So there's a metabolic health crisis that's caused by decisions. Right, the USDA, which is completely corrupt, the guidelines that set nutrition standards, 95% of the guideline committees paid for by food companies, they say that a 2-year-old, that 10% of their diet could be added sugar.
But hang on, Harvard told me that red meat was the problem. What's all this discussion about sugar? Was someone lying to me? Surely we can trust Harvard, right?
10% of all food stamps funding goes to soda. We're the only country in the world that allows that. So we have
to soda?
Goes to soda. So
the U.S. government pays people to drink soda?
The U.S. government, direct from the federal treasury, more than $10 billion per year go from the federal treasury to soda companies through the food stamp program. The number one item purchased with food stamps in America is addictive diabetes water.
Just as long as they're not subsidizing that dangerous red meat, Harvard?
Right. We use 10 easily identifiable things that are causing us, frankly, to be poisoned. And instead of talking about the root cause, we're saying that a weekly injection that you have to take for your entire life that costs $20,000 per patient when 80% of American adults are overweight or obese, we're saying that is the answer for obesity.
Of course, this is marketing 101. It's not your fault. You were born this way. It's just your genes. You just have to live this way. Or we have this really special medicine that we can give you that will solve all of your problems. Will that be cash or card? Our medicine is so good, the weight will just fall off. In fact, it will literally fall because you're going to have so much muscle wastage, you won't be able to stand up. Everything will be on the floor.
Pharma has basically changed our consensus reality to say, when all these things are happening all at once due to environmental factors, our savior, you do the math on $20,000 per patient, 80% of American adults, we're talking, and this is clear on Wall Street, food stocks are going down, pharma stocks are going up because they're doing cartwheels on Wall Street. This is on track because of government funding, because we stand to put trillions of government funding into this drug to be the most successful drug in American history.
And of course it's going to be. They've trained us all our lives that we are the only species that needs to manage and balance our diet. And if that managing and balancing doesn't work, well, you've just been cursed with these bad genes that are going to make you genetically obese. It's a brain condition. That's what it is. But we've got the medicine to fix it for you. All the while, no one asks the question, why are we the only species that has to worry about this? Why don't lions, tigers, giraffes, elephants ever have to worry about this stuff?
But the problem is when you get to the individual level, this drug medically is a absolute disaster. Medically, it's a disaster. So all you need to know is that Novo Nordisk, the company that makes this drug, recently passed LVMH to become the most valuable company in Europe. So this company, most valuable company in Europe.
Overnight, the maker of weight loss drugs Ozempic and Wegovy, Novo Nordisk, beat all estimates with $33.7 billion worth of sales last year. That was up 36%. Around 90% of the company's sales come from its obesity and diabetes division. Full year profit, $15 billion, was also above expectation. Now the markets now value Novo Nordisk at $480 billion. That's up $170 billion in just a year. It is now Europe's most valuable company, ahead of the luxury goods business, LVMH.
They don't allow this drug for obesity in Europe. Almost all of Novo Nordisk's revenue is coming from taking advantage of Americans. This is not the first line of defense for obesity in any European country. It's not approved by the government regulators. They are saying on their stock calls that all of their growth is coming from the US. They're taking advantage of a broken US system in the United States. And when you dive into it, even people in the United States who are getting government funding, insurance funding for this drug don't have to pay for it. 30% of them go off the drug within 3 months. So even though they're fully being paid for it, and we're being told this is a lifetime drug, there's lawsuits coming, just reported in the past couple of days, on gastrointestinal issues and stomach paralysis. The drug itself essentially is stomach paralysis.
So some doctors are calling for more research into the side effects of very popular diabetes and weight loss drugs like Ozempic.
Now the makers of two of the most popular weight loss and diabetes drugs are facing a major lawsuit over claims about potential side effects.
The reason Ozempic, I think, is such an important story in America today is because it's really, again, it's the Rosetta Stone of understanding corruption. Our institutions, particularly the healthcare industry, has completely let us down. And you just step back and think about it. Pharma is the largest spender on TV news ads. It's the largest spender. Novo Nordisk specifically is the largest spender on foundational obesity research. It's the largest spender on medical groups like the AAP. It's one of the largest funders of actual civil rights groups. So you actually can't even believe this. But Novo Nordisk is paying the NAACP to say that not supporting Ozempic is a civil rights issue.
So you're racist if you're against giving kids a diabetes drug?
It's on the NAACP website, and the NAACP is a registered lobbyist for Ozempic, saying that you are a racist because there's disproportionate issues with obesity in certain communities, that you're a racist for not supporting government funding for Ozempic. Of course.
And the NAACP takes money from the drug maker?
They're a registered lobbyist for the drug maker.
So now it's racist to not make a pharmaceutical company much richer than it already is. Right.
So this is what I saw working for pharma. You just have to ask who people trust. People trust the medical groups. They trust civil rights groups. They trust the media. You have a situation where, additionally, Novo Nordisk, and this is reported, has given $30 million in direct bribes to obesity doctors. You would be hard-pressed to find a doctor who treats obesity in this country who has not received some kind of donation, not research grants, but direct consulting grants from Novo Nordisk.
Like just sending him cash?
Exactly. So
how can doctors take cash from drug makers?
Oh, this is what's done. The drug makers spend hundreds of millions of dollars a year in direct cash payments to doctors.
But you
it's the same playbook. I actually, when I was working for pharma, the opioid crisis was in full effect. And there was a panel in 2012, and the panel was full of outside experts recommending guidance on opioids. The head of that panel was a man named Dr. Philip Pizzo, who was the dean of Stanford Med School at the time. He was a pain specialist. At the moment he was appointed to that panel, Stanford received a grant from Pfizer, who's one of the largest opioid makers, of $3 million for pain research. He appointed 90% of that panel, who are also conflicted, who received direct research and personal consulting fees from opioid makers, and they relaxed opioid standards. This is exactly what's happening on obesity. You have Dr. Fatima Stanford, the head of obesity research at Harvard, paid tens of thousands of dollars by Novo Nordisk just started a new direct, not to mention, of course, millions of dollars of research grants. She's been paid tens of thousands of dollars.
How can Harvard allow that?
There are no conflict of interest rules in medicine. Harvard is supporting her, and the NIH recently, it came out that 8,000 research grants went to university professors who also have a direct conflict of interest with the topic and the drug they're studying.
It's a brain disease.
It is?
It's a brain disease. And the brain tells us how much to eat and how much to store.
Dr. Fatima Cody Stanford, an obesity doctor at Mass General Hospital, an associate professor at Harvard Medical School, says common beliefs about obesity are all wrong.
Today you're here to learn about obesity, and I hope that by the end of this lecture you'll leave with some new insights about obesity and its role in our current structure as it relates to health and all multiple of issues.
Ozempic is paying off everyone. They're one of the 5 largest funders, the company itself, one of the 5 largest funders of news ads, one of the top research funders of obesity research, largest funders to university on the obesity topic.
Speaking of Fatima C. Stanford, let's look at some of the payments or donations that she's received from Novo Nordisk. All right, so this is openpaymentsdata.cms.gov if you're interested in having a look. All right, so Fatima C. Stanford, you can see here. All right, so we're going to filter this down on all years. Whoa, okay. And payment type, does it have all payments or general payments? Okay, nature of payment, we won't filter on that. And what we're going to do is go to company making payments, Novo Nordisk. All right, so let's just have a look at this. And it should, oh my goodness, look at this. $69,234.37. All right, so let's have a look at this, and it's started back in 2016. What's this lady been up to? My goodness. Okay, so she is taking money from other pharmaceutical companies, but you'll notice the majority of the money comes from Novo Nordisk, and that's yellow because that's what we're filtered on. All right, so let's just go down. She's got $56,105 in consulting fees. She has $6,612 in travel fees. She's got $3,500 in what's that? Honolulu stuff? I don't know. Honoraria? Maybe she's an honorary. Is that from honorary? Honorary something. Okay. Honorary Ozempic pusher. Food and beverage, $1,517. Grant, $1,500. Oh, what does she do with the grant? Is Grant a guy, or is Grant money she was given? She was granted the money, or she got a grant for the evening? Who knows? All right. So look at this, all listed here. We've got consulting fees. These, of course, are all from Novo Nordisk. Last one was September 12, 2022. This is not in date order, it looks like, or it's kind of weirdly in date order. All right, and we've got, it's not in date order at all. Let's put this in date order. Let's see when the last one was. Okay, that's not the last one. Okay, this is the last one. December 2022 was the last one. She got a consulting fee for $4,000. And so what kind of consulting is that? I want to move into consulting myself. All right. And, one day of consulting, there you go, $4,000. Go out and buy yourself a drink. Wow, look at that consulting fee in September, $7,125. She's gone crazy with the consulting fees. All right, so she's got 16 consulting fees in total, totaling $56,000. So that's a lot of money. Final words on this. Obviously, Fatima's case, I don't know what those fees were for. They could be totally legit, or who knows. She's the one that's out there telling people that obesity is a mental disease and that they need things like Ozempic. Who knows what's going on? There seems feels like there's a bit of a conflict of interest there, but I'm a layman, layperson, laywoman, you know, depending on how I'm identifying today, whether I'm identifying as Bellshine or not. So, you know, I'm just putting together a video. But the full interview, which I recommend you watch, the link is in the description. Thanks for checking this out, guys. Do me a massive favor, smash like, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. And I will see you in the next one. Cheers.